Welcome to the Mind of the Fans podcast, your go-to show for all things Premier League football. Join host David and Spy every week as they dissect the best and worst moments from each match, delivering insightful analysis and engaging discussions. From intense rivalries to top-notch performances, they've got you covered. But it doesn't stop there. Stay tuned for updates on major European games and breaking news. Get ready for an unforgettable football experience on the Mind of the Fans podcast. Let the games begin.
Hello everyone, welcome to Mind of the Fans podcast. I'm David and with me here is Spy. Spy, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm very good. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Yeah, pretty much for me it's a Tuesday morning. For you it's like a Tuesday 12 p.m., right?
Yeah, it's Tuesday, 12 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Well, let's pretty much start off. As usual, I want to appreciate you guys for all your support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
We appreciate the love. Keep it going. We feel it. We feel it.
What do we have on show today? Spy?
Today, we have to speak about a very interesting match they won.
Very interesting match they won. That's very true. We do have to speak on that. We also have some breaking news to bring to you guys also from the transfer world. So we'll do all that. And then we'll round up with the Women's World Cup that just the first semi-final just concluded. So we'll round up with that. So we do have a lot of juicy stuff to talk about today. Spy, let's kick off first with the transfer breaking news, shall we?
Yes, go.
First off, Kane to Bayern. And what it
Kane
means for
to
Spurs.
Bayern.
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, to me, that is a very good transfer in terms of Kane's career. Because he needs to win something.
Yeah, that's true. He does need to win. He's 30, so he does need to win something.
So him going to Bayern, that is very good. Because he's assured a title in Bayern Munich, either a League Cup or whatsoever.
Yeah. And for those of you that know where Harry Kane completed his move to Bayern for £100 million on Friday. And then he made his debut against RB Leipzig on Saturday. Well, it was actually confirmed Saturday morning. And then he made his debut Saturday afternoon. So that was a very interesting transfer though.
Yeah, honestly, I was wondering, how many minutes was his medical? Like, did he even do medical? It was actually very interesting that he made his debut that early.
Yeah, because it was strange. Because I think he trained Friday. I don't think it was confirmed, but he trained Friday. It wasn't confirmed yet. Like Bayern had announced it, and he trained Friday. He got there like Friday evening, trained like that same Friday. Did his medicals, trained that Friday. And then Saturday, it was confirmed, and then he made his debut. So that was very interesting. Like, it went so quick. I was like, wow, these guys are fast. But then they ended up losing 3-0. I mean, he'll still get other opportunities, but still.
I mean, from that one training session, like, you could see, like, when Kane came off the bench, he didn't really fit in with the squad. Like, it's just one training session, but there's a lot to learn.
Oh, yeah.
German football is not the same as English football.
Yeah, that's true. But he'll still adapt. He's coming from a much more higher league to a very not so higher league. So I feel he will adapt quickly. He'll start off the bat. His first start, I feel he'll score like 3 goals. So I'm not worried about him producing the numbers for Spurs. For FC Bayern. So
yeah.
Let's move on. We have next up Chelsea and Liverpool. First off, the Caicedo drama. We all know Liverpool bid for Caicedo. I think Thursday night, £110 million. £110 million for Caicedo. Thursday night. His medical was scheduled with Liverpool Friday morning. But he had already agreed with Chelsea on personal terms. So he told Liverpool no. And then Chelsea were working behind the scenes to strike a fee with Brighton. And then they ended up striking the fee for £150 million, which is the British world record for a player. How do you see that?
I see that as Chelsea being Chelsea, which we spoke about in our first episode.
Yeah.
We said Chelsea would see a player and go all out. And that's why the transfer market is being messed up right now. Because players' values are just skyrocketing and it's not good for the footballing world,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the one that caused it with that Enzo deal. The
Straight out
Enzo
from the
deal in
Kepa deal,
January
the Kepa deal started everything off, and the Enzo deal just finalized it.
finalized and then cost that dynamo of players going for over £100 million to players that don't necessarily fit that price tag. Well, not I won't say they don't necessarily fit that price tag. They haven't just gotten to that price tag yet.
Because honestly, if you're telling me that Pogba to United was cheaper than Caicedo to Chelsea, then that is a joke. Because Pogba's quality cannot be compared to Caicedo's quality.
Exactly. So that's just really makes no sense. Makes no sense. Like £150 million for a player that has just played the Premier League one season.
And he wasn't even outstanding. He was just decent in that one season. He wasn't a player that if you're calling out the top 10 midfielders, you call his name. No. He just was a player that fits into Graham Potter's like style of play before he left Brighton.
Exactly.
Because you could see that
he fits into the Zerbi style too. So
after Graham Potter left Brighton was still playing under like his tactics in a certain way. And that's why they were very much successful last season. And that is one reason footballing world is changing, bro.
Yeah, and same thing Chelsea Liverpool battling for Mario Lavia. His name. Did I get that name correctly? I can't remember. I know
Yes.
Mario Lavia from Southampton. Southampton at first were asking for £50 million or just over £50 million, which is also stupid considering he also had a decent season with Southampton and they're asking for £50 million. That's just insanely stupid. Liverpool at first bid, they had 3 bids rejected, and then Chelsea went in and they are pretty much soaping in to get him for about over £80 million, which is just insanely stupid.
Honestly, I think that Chelsea, they don't even go to the transfer market with something in mind. They go to the transfer market seeing what other big names want, and then they try to. I don't think they actually want them in their plans.
And like I said before, it's just really stupid.
Paying that amount of money for a championship player is going to be wildly insane.
Wildly insane. Like, and he'll definitely. It's not like they're in Champions League, so it's not like he'll get game time. They are just in the League Cup, FA Cup. So they have 3 world class. They will end up having so-called 3 world class midfielders just sitting on the bench, or one of them sitting on the bench, and then you have the likes of Gallagher also sitting on the bench, who was outstanding on Sunday. So it's just I don't see the plans there. Like I don't see it.
I feel like Pochettino has a plan, but I feel like that is not what he wants. Because I know Pochettino's type of players, and what he's in the transfer market right now is not Pochettino type of play. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe he's just being influenced by the owners and whatever. But I don't feel like that's actually his plan, these players that he's getting.
Yeah, but we'll see. So according to reports this morning, Chelsea are almost close to finalizing that deal. That's I guess that's the football world we're living in right now.
And this is why I need to go to Saudi.
I won't say Saudi has had like any effect in this. I'll say Chelsea started this and it's just insanely stupid since Todd Bowley came in. But let's move on to let's leave England a bit and move on to France. And we all know where that is, PSG and their whole drama. First off, with Mbappe, that looks like it's going to be sorted out soon. According to reports, Mbappe has been called back into first team training and he's in talks to sign a contract extension so he won't leave for free next summer to Real Madrid. Did you think that might probably happen, or did you just see Mbappe sitting out the whole season?
Honestly, Mbappe, he knows he's young. He knows he has a lot to learn, a lot to do. So him sitting out a whole season and just die out his career.
Yeah.
So it's better he just even though he has something on a certain goal in his mind, he should just postpone the goal and then focus on what's in front of him right now. Because honestly, he can break some records still this season, or he can give because he's already broken Zlatan's record.
Yeah.
Or Cavani's record in PSG for highest goal scorer.
Yeah.
So he can just extend that record so that no one can break it, and he can also try win the Ligue de France, try win some other trophies, just increase the cabinet.
Yeah, I
before
mean
he
they
actually
won't win
goes.
Champions League, so they should just like try and win like all the local stuff and all that. So
Yeah, because I don't think they have the squad for Champions League. Justice to Usman Dembele for coming in, but I don't think he's going to help them do anything in Champions League. Since after 3-4 games, Dembele goes to sleep with an injury.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm actually very angry that he left Barcelona, but we'll get into that.
You know what? I don't blame him to be honest, because it's PSG, and I feel like he knew he was going to get game time because he was definitely going to get game time.
The credit I'll give him, or the benefit of the doubt I'll give Dembele, is he's going to his homeland. But he signed for Barca. Barca, he was injured throughout more than half of his time in Barcelona. He was injured. And look what Juventus is about to do to Pogba since he's been injured. They wanted to release him. Barcelona never brought up that topic. They took care of him while he was injured.
Signed a new
Never,
almost negotiating new
never even
contract
thought of
terms.
putting him on transfer. They increased his salary, gave him a new contract, extended his years. He was still injured, but they did all of that.
Yeah.
Barca had patience in him, and the first offer he gets, he flees. Yeah, no. I'm disappointed in him.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that would be an interesting front three with him, Mbappe, and maybe either Asensio or Gonzalo Ramos up front. That would be really interesting.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting squad.
That would be an interesting squad. But then when the another PSG superstar, when the reports came out, Neymar, that he wanted to leave PSG. At first, it stated that it was all false, and then earlier this week, it came out that Al Hilal put in an insanely huge bid for him. I don't think that's grammatically correct, but I'll still go with it. A really huge bid for him, and PSG accepted, and they moved on to discuss with Neymar. Neymar gave them the green light and all that. Did you see that coming also? Did you see Neymar wanting to leave PSG coming?
I honestly, once Messi left, I knew he was coming. I knew that Neymar would want to flee as well because you saw how happy he was when Messi came. You could see his footballing style, you could see that confidence back and everything.
Yeah.
But Messi left, now Neymar's going as well. And honestly, he wanted to leave for like before the season Messi came. He wanted to go as well. There were like speculations of him wanting to leave. But at the end of the day, it comes back to the scratch of when he decided to leave Messi's shadow to become a name on his own, which he was not successful doing. He was more successful under the shadow of Messi. But we understand that, yeah, people don't like being under the shadow. Like Benzema. Benzema did not request for transfer after being under the shadow of Ronaldo. He stayed and waited it out and see what happened. He had the Ballon d'Or to cover it.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. I mean, he won one Champions League. Didn't necessarily go beyond that. He had a very injury plagued career, or he is having a very injury plagued career. He missed most of his time at PSG due to injury, so he didn't necessarily. He walked out, but then necessarily didn't walk out. So it's quite
Yeah.
it's quite sad for him though. But yeah, so PSG are receiving close to 100 million euros for him, which is a pretty. It's not a loss, but it's still a little bit less than what they paid for him. But it's still a pretty decent fee for a player of his caliber. So that was a pretty interesting news that came out. I'm happy for PSG that they're kind of sorting out their stuff and getting their things in order. Maybe that's what they are missing to like go that extra step, especially like in Champions League, trying to sort their business out early. All this Mbappe, Neymar drama and all that stuff, sort it out and have the squad with a proper manager to go the long way. So
But this footballing drama right now is really getting me confused. But it's also getting me very interested at the same time.
yeah. Sometimes you are just like you sit down, you see the news, a player going for 150 million pounds, and you're like, this makes no sense.
I'm actually like, who is this player? Like, what
Exactly.
has he done? What accolades does he have to actually back up the 150 million? Back up the price they're putting on his name?
Exactly. And
What
then and then you're
quality?
just and then you just can't leave it because you want to see how it's like unfolds. You want to see how it goes.
Like it, the media and the footballing world already like damages big players once they spend big money on them.
Yeah.
Like Jude Bellingham now, cheers to him that he's performing. But if he didn't, the amount of criticism that he'll be getting
It's a
after
bit crazy.
Real Madrid wasting that much money, he's playing whatever football. Jason Sancho, same thing. Man, you spent money. They expected so much from him. They thought he was young Ronaldo or something. Put so much pressure on his head, and then he's playing his football, and people are expecting too much of him because of the price. And Caicedo, I want to see what people expect of him. But it's Chelsea. I can't really say much because Chelsea fans, I don't even think at this point they care anymore.
I mean, as much as they are spending money and they are getting big, so-called big name players, I mean, they
And
are
I had
happy.
I had I had a rumor last week that Premier League have opened an investigation on Chelsea.
I heard that too also. I heard that too
And
also.
we all know where that is going to lie because I don't know what income that Chelsea got during these few years that they used to spend about 1.1 billion.
I heard that it was this current board, this new board, this Todd Bowley board that actually invited, well, not that called the Premier League in to actually investigate the previous regime, Abramovich regime.
So my question is, if they investigate that, what are they going to do? Because it's a new regime. So what is the outcome going to be?
I really don't know what they expect to go on because if they do find something, the whole club will. So I mean, maybe they're just trying to like get their rid themselves of all guilt and all that stuff. But at the end, they'll all, if they do find something, they'll all suffer it. So it's kind of an interesting one. We'll see how that develops. When the club is being investigated, you never actually hear the result of the investigation until years later. With City, Juventus, all these other guys, when they are investigated, you kind of not hear anything else till years after. Well, let's leave transfers and move on to the reason why we're here, the main business of the day. Match week 1 is done. So many dramas. That also isn't grammatically correct, but we'll move on. The drama was so good. Too many controversies. Goals were just going in, which was fun to see. Some games started out really boring, but then ended up living to its hype. So for me, I was hooked. The games I did watch, I tried to watch all the games. There were some games I did not watch just because.
Honestly, most the games, yeah, they were a bit. Some of them were a bit like boring for a few minutes, but it's always had drama.
Yeah.
That was a very. We could have asked for a better opening week.
And I remember I was watching Newcastle Villa game. No, not Newcastle Villa game. The Brighton Luton game. I was watching that, and it started out so boring. Like it just didn't catch my attention.
Yeah,
And
it
then
started out
and then
as
Brighton scored, and I was like, okay, this game is becoming, something.
throughout that game, that Luton Tower game. I have one word. That right back, he held Mitoma to the best.
He tried his
That
best. I won't say he
that
held
right
him.
back, he needs a raise. He needs to be taken to junior manager. He needs to stop playing football for them. He needs a raise. From what I saw, Mitoma couldn't really do anything on field the second half when the Premier League intensity actually kicked in on Luton's down.
Well,
And then
we'll
yeah.
dive into that. We'll dive into that soon. But we all know our predictions. Let me just read it out briefly and tell them what we all had in mind, or what you had in mind for like discuss for match week 1. City Burnley went for a 1-1 draw. That was totally not it. Off by a mile. Arsenal Forest, you went for 3-0. Close, close. Bournemouth West Ham, you went for 0-0. You are right on like the draw, but definitely not the scoreline. Brighton Luton, you went for 4-0, also close. Everton Fulham, you totally botched that. That was a 2-1. You said 2-1 to Everton, but well, that's, as I said, you botched it. Sheffield Palace, you went for 2-0 Palace. So yeah, that was you got that. Credit to you for the ones you got.
Thank you so much.
Credit to you. Newcastle Villa, you totally botched it also. You went for a 3-3 or 2-2 draw. You went for a draw though, so you botched that badly. Brentford
Uh,
Spurs, you went for Brentford winning 1-0. Chelsea, Liverpool, you went for a draw, 1-1 draw precisely. And then United, Wolves, you went for a walkover to United, 3-0.
Did
Which,
I get that chance to Liverpool?
yeah, you got Chelsea, Liverpool, you went for 1-1.
Next day, listen, after this episode, everyone, you need to use my informations, my predictions to get yourself a nice ticket. If
Well,
you know what I mean.
first off, we do not promote betting on this platform at
We
the
do not
moment.
promote. I'm just saying
But,
a
but,
nice ticket. That's what I'm saying.
well, but you did botch the Burnley City, you botched the Newcastle Villa, and
You
you
feel
botched the
something.
United
That's
Wolves
part of life.
and
I
Everton
think,
Fulham too.
yeah, but credit to me, I did get some of the wins, but not this direct score.
That's also fair. That's also fair. But let's go. Let's brush through the actual result also. City beats Burnley 3-0 opening day of the campaign. Arsenal beat Forest 2-1. Palace beat Sheffield 1-0. Bournemouth and West Ham drew. Brighton beat Luton Town 4-1. Everton lost to Fulham 1-0. Newcastle demolished Villa 5-1. Spurs and Brentford drew 2-2. Liverpool Chelsea even 1-1. And United beat Wolves 1-0 in a hard-fought victory. So that's your results right there for match week 1.
Walk
Just
over.
no, it wasn't a walkover, it was a struggle. What
Like
was your takeaway from match week 1? Your biggest takeaways from match week 1?
biggest takeaway is Haaland is back.
Obvious, but that's not a takeaway. We know that that's normal. Like we expected it. Like that's not a takeaway. Please give us
Honestly, I
something
did not.
reasonable.
Honestly, I pretty much thought that he was going to be like at least give him like a couple of weeks to catch on after the treble celebrations and everything. But he was on it from start, so I have to give credit to that for it.
I won't take that as a takeaway, but credit to Haaland also. 2 goals, pretty good goals. So
Another
again,
takeaway is you can take the boy out of United, but you cannot take United out of the boy. Anthony Elanga made Arsenal's defense look shaky in 25 minutes of game time.
I will give you that he did turn the game around. He had that good run that assisted our in for the goal. So he did cause us a little bit of trouble for a bit, but yeah,
That's the Ten Hag effect.
okay. Another takeaway. Another takeaway. Let's go.
Another takeaway, Manchester United were lucky.
That's very true. We're very
Luton
lucky.
have a lot to learn. Fulham might be a problem this season due to the advent of Traore.
Do you know what? Fulham, right? That first half of the game, Everton were on top. Everton were on top on that game, but they just couldn't score. They just couldn't score goals. Like New Mope had chances that even the even the walls. I don't know the word to put it in, but he had chances that he should have scored, and that game would be done at halftime. They had chances that game would be done at halftime, but then they ended up, botching the chances, and then Fulham came and punished them.
But that's how we start as a football game because United same literally just the exact same thing. United were dominating. No, sorry, Wolverhampton. No, it was not like a more dominating game, but Wolverhampton had that much more chances,
Yeah, they had
creation.
they had the better chances and all that
They had
stuff.
everything that a club is looking for. To fair play to them for being quiet in the transfer window, pulling up that gameplay. You have to give them that credit. But
Yeah,
United players were just not on it. It's not as if we were just like Fulham with the better team. Yes, they were the better team, but because our players were not on it. No real chances created. The midfield, leaving Casemiro to sit there, which he has always been doing since Real Madrid. But once the front three are not pressing enough, it leaves Bruno and Mason Mount to go forward and press. And that leaves Casemiro isolated, and that is not what we want in our everyday life.
yeah. And you know what? I just had something to say. I know what. Yeah, okay, I remember now. Wolves kind of, they had me rethinking that my prediction for like relegation. Watching them play against United and how they made United struggle, they kind of had me rethink my predictions for relegation. So I'm just going to leave that there.
My predictions still stand, unless they spend some money in the July transfer window.
Yeah. Credit to Gary O'Neill. He came in like I think Thursday. He came in Thursday of I think, yeah. He came in Thursday and actually turned the team around. Because I'm pretty sure if Lopetegui was still there, United would have, as even with how bad they played, they would have still like scored like five. But credit to Gary O'Neill and how he took that team over and just, put a proper team out there that gave United some struggle. Next takeaway.
Bukayo Saka has a decent left foot.
That's not a takeaway. Everyone kind of knows that, but next takeaway.
Uh,
Let's move on. Let's move on. Next takeaway. And it's not decent, it's an amazing left foot.
decent, decent.
Okay, next takeaway.
And that's all for me, honestly.
That's all for you. Well, my own takeaway, and I think pretty much everyone had this. Newcastle are here to stay. And when I mean they are here to stay, I mean they are not relinquishing fighting
We don't know
for.
that until next week
I'm
when
just giving you
when they
like they were the best team this match week one. Their football was just electric. And I mean, this was a proper Villa side, and they put five past them. Their football was just electric. So for me, I think I'll probably also revisit my predictions for that. Maybe have Newcastle finish in fifth, sixth, but we will come back to that middle of the season. But they were electric match week one. Tonali. Oh, do you know when we were making our predictions for like signing of the season and all that? We actually forgot like Tonali, and he will probably have like a proper impact. So that's one of my takeaways from match week one.
yeah.
Also, I don't as I said, I'm going to put my next takeaway is Luton Town. I don't think they are Premier League ready. I think their style of football isn't Premier League, and it will probably kill them. Watching them against Brighton, their style of football will kill them. It's probably what will make them go down. I think if they do not change their style, they're like, this is it. They will go down because of it. They play a very what's the word I'm looking for? Interesting foot style of football that Premier League teams can easily go through, as we saw Brighton did. Sorry, as we saw Brighton do. So I think Luton Town need to change their style of football. And
But honestly, they did hold Brighton for a while. The
yeah, they held on for a while, but
first half was a lot. If you watch the first half and then you heard the final result, you know I've actually like believed it because they were honest in the first half, but second half just showed you that Premier League you need to be honest for both halves.
yeah, because
This is
it was 1-0 at halftime. So
yeah, this is not a this is not championship that you can play one half brilliant football and then you can slap the second half and still come out with a result. Premier League you need to be honest from start to finish.
yeah. And you know what? Brighton, just to talk about Brighton for a bit, that left hand side of Brighton with Mitoma, Estupinian, and that new forward, Pedro. I think that's his name, Joao Pedro. They are pretty good. Like they can cause any defense trouble in the league. Like
I agree.
just their combination play was just nasty. So that's what I'm talking about Brighton. James Milner looked good, for his age. He looked really good in that right back role. So I think Brighton would be one to watch this season. They looked really good on Saturday. So let's before we round up or before we move on, Chelsea Liverpool. Do you know Chelsea actually looked really good? Chelsea played some really good football. Like obviously they started the game real slow. I think they were just easing their way into the game. But after they eased their way into the game, especially after that Salah goal was cancelled, it's like something entered them and they changed gears and they just moved on. They didn't look back. Liverpool are on their heels from pretty much that point on.
Yeah, but Liverpool, they just need to fix up that midfield, from what I think.
Now you get why I told you I don't see Liverpool making top four.
I mean, they'll still make it because they're still scoring the goals, but you need to fix up that midfield if you want to go on throughout the season without like losing some unnecessary points.
It's really interesting considering like Liverpool have the what's the word I'm looking for? They have the um most consistent back five in terms of their keeper doesn't change, their backline doesn't change, but they still let in crazy amount of goals, which is kind of scary. And it all comes from the midfield. Like the midfield isn't balanced. They have no defensive midfielder. With Fabinho leaving, they have no defensive midfielder. And you could see even with McAllister and how good he is, credit to him, he played an absolute game on Sunday. But you could still see that hole missing. Like he just couldn't do what a proper defensive midfielder can do for a team.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Exactly. So I accept they go in, and if they are missing out on Caicedo, missing out on Lavia, who else can they go for in this transfer market that will come in and hold players that holding midfield, midfielder that will help them maybe reduce the amount of goals, keep keep that midfield together. I really don't know who else they can go for. So
I feel that Caicedo would have been a better player in that team than him going to Chelsea. But I still say Chelsea don't go to the transfer market to look for actual players. They just go to piss off teams.
yeah. I know no Enzo looked really good. I think he was a
And so,
really
oh,
and
he was.
he was balling.
That
Like he held that midfield, him and Gallagher. I mean Gallagher pretty much came into the game late. He kind of eased his way into the game. But Enzo right from the start, he was get go. Sharping, he was sharp. He was receiving passes, distributing the ball, coming out of tight spots, really good. Like he just looked like a proper baller, you know.
Enzo Fernandez. You have to put some respect on his name.
Yeah. You know what? I think he needs to probably add more, goals, maybe 8, 9 goals there, 8, 9 assists there. And I think with Caicedo coming in, Caicedo more will be like the sitter, and then Enzo will be the one that will move forward more. And I think that will pretty much you see more goals and assists to his name. And I look forward to watching this interest because Chelsea looked really interested towards like they were so good. I can't get over the fact that they were so good. For a rebuilding project, they look so good.
Yeah, I give it. Yeah, they actually looked. But to be fair, it's like you finally give your young players or your actual like team chance to play football because there's some people that don't show that passion. You can see in the Chelsea side, everyone plays football. That's what happened to United under Solskjaer. The
Yeah,
passion wasn't there. Just a few people were showing passion, like Fernandez and whatnot. But now the passion is back, and you can see them fighting to the 90th minute.
yeah. But then, as I said, I'm very scared for Liverpool. I hope they do show with all their problems and kind of just get it done. But Dominic also looked good. Dominic really looked good. He can pass the ball. He can run with the ball. He can get out of tight spaces. He's a really technical, gifted player. So I really liked watching him. And maybe it got me rethinking of putting him as one of my worst signings of the season. But we'll see. We'll see how he goes. As you said, it's just match week 1. So
Match week one, which was what we expected. Football is back. No more lonely Saturdays.
yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved waking up at 7:30 to watch it. Well, I woke up at 6, but you know what I mean.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Well, just before we move on to like predictions for Matrix 2, Spurs, we kind of did know what we'll get from Spurs and Ange Ball and how they would play without Kane. And don't get me wrong, they scored some pretty good goals, but then they were just having Richarlison as that target man up front is nasty. It's terrible.
Besides, bro, he is more like the player that plays off people. Like he's good on that wing, not. But honestly, I don't know what Spurs are going to do. They don't have that nine again rather than Harry Kane.
Exactly. They need to go
They
in and
probably be
get.
forced to play a false nine, which Son can do.
Yeah, they need to go get a proper. Either they need to go get a proper nine because they do have money now. They need to go get a proper nine that can score at least 10, 15 goals this season. Because obviously taking Kane out, that's 30 goals out of this team. And don't get me wrong, with Madsen as that number 10 and you still have Son, they will score goals. But it might not just be as much as when they had Kane. So they do need to go get.
All I'm going to say is Spurs go to the market and get Wegos.
What? What?
They need a defensive striker.
So they don't need a striker that can score goals. They need a defensive
Then
striker.
so that we can walk over them next week.
That would be an interesting game next week. That would be interesting. That would be so much fun.
Walk over for us.
I mean, with the way you guys played against Wolves,
Walk over.
I don't think it's a bit walkover.
Are you forgetting last season? We lost 4-0 to who was it? And then the next week we had Liverpool and we absolutely battered Liverpool.
You beat Liverpool 2-1.
That's what we're talking about.
You beat
We
Liverpool
turned up
2-1.
on the big stage.
You beat Liverpool 2-1. That's not battering. You just
We
beat them
battered them.
2-1.
Did you watch the match?
At Old
We
Trafford, yeah.
absolutely
At
gave
Old
them hell.
Trafford, yeah. You beat them 2-1.
That was Old Trafford. That was the theater of dreams as it was when he was dreaming. Do you understand that?
You
We
know,
gave
I really do not want to bring this up. You know what? I really don't want to bring this up. But then at Anfield, they did pop you guy 7.
as I was saying.
Okay.
But yeah, we hope for a good match with Tottenham this weekend.
Yeah. So Matric 1 was a vibe. Really good. Loved it. I can't get enough of it. I'm looking forward to Matric 2. I'm like, let Matric 2 already come. Premier League football is just so good. But let's go to Matric 2 prediction, starting with the first game. Forest Sheffield. Forest are at home, by the way.
Forest Sheffield United. Not Forest to win 2-1.
2-1. Okay. Fulham Brentford.
Ooh. Fulham Brentford. No, that's interesting. I'll give it to Fulham. 1-0 again.
Okay, Fulham 1-0. Liverpool Bournemouth. Oh, and by the way, Liverpool at home.
Liverpool win 3-1.
3-1. I was going in my head I'm thinking like 7.
No. 3-1 Liverpool. 7, that's a stretch. This is not last season.
Okay. Wolves Brighton.
Brighton win 2-0.
2-0. Spurs United at
Walk off 3-0 United.
so Spurs lose 3-0 at home.
100%.
Man City Newcastle. Ooh, that would be juicy.
Now that's why I told you that we don't know certain about Newcastle until next week. Now this game will be something to watch, but you have to give Pep the credit and say Pep boys come out 4-1 win.
4-1 against a very sturdy Newcastle.
4-1.
Okay. Villa Everton.
Villa bounce back from the post out of the season. 2-0. I'll give them 2-0.
2-0. West Ham Chelsea.
Chelsea win 1-0.
Chelsea win 1-0. Crystal Palace Arsenal.
A 1-0 draw. Oh, the silence is loud. Are you okay with that?
Crystal Palace Arsenal 1-1 draw.
1-0 draw. Yes.
Next week when we come back, and we're going through the games, and it's not 1-1, and it goes Arsenal's way, I will play North London forever for you.
No problem. And I'll gladly sing it with you.
We'll happily take it. Yeah.
100%.
In breaking news, the officials for the United Wolves game were dropped for match week 2 because of their controversial takes, especially that last minute penalty, which was a penalty, by the way.
I have no words to talk about that game.
So again, Man United were very lucky to scrape out of that game with 3 points. But... And then another breaking news also, Maguire's move to West Ham has collapsed, which is quite shocking.
Which is sad for we United players. We want him out. Leave our squad, please.
Do you know what Ten Hag came out and said? He came out and said he wants Maguire to fight for his place.
Honestly, every manager will want that, because I feel like if Maguire goes back, I mean, I don't know, I cannot say prime, but if Maguire goes back to Leicester Maguire, and the minute goes being standard in defense, that's why we signed him. That's why Solskjaer signed him. But we are not seeing that, and unfortunately, that's what we need.
I think his confidence is just really, really low right now. I think he just needs a confidence, because you can see a big difference when he plays for England, where he's very confident and he's with his guys, and with a manager that fully backs him, and then when he's with United, it's just.
But we still see his mistakes for England. It's just that his mistakes don't get punished. But we see the mistakes.
But in an England game, you can say he makes like 3 mistakes in 2 games. Compared to in the United shirt, he makes like 5 mistakes in 1 game.
Because that's what the pressure is.
I mean, the World Cup, he was good in the World Cup. So I really don't get how bad it is at United. Like, for him, it's just I do pity him as a human being. I pity him. I pity how he's always like thinking and stuff. Like, him, sometimes I feel so bad for him.
No, we have to definitely take care of his mental health, but same time, don't make mistakes in my team. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, that's a wrap on match week 2 and also the recap of match week 1. Before we head out, let's just talk about the Women's World Cup a bit. The quarterfinals done. First game of the semi-final also just concluded with Spain coming out victorious over Sweden. So to recap, Spain beat Netherlands 2-1 in the quarterfinals. Sweden beat Japan 2-1 also. Australia and France drew. Australia coming out victorious on penalties. England then beat Colombia 2-1, setting up semi-final clash between Spain and Sweden, in which Spain came out victorious 2-1. And then tomorrow, Australia plays England. Tomorrow, when this episode drops, Australia plays England. And I'm still going to say this. Now I support England all the way. England going all the way to win it. So
the Lionesses, we have to always give Chloe that credit. We have to give Greenwood that credit. We have to give all of the Lionesses that credit. They are bringing it back home again.
It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. Hope you listeners out there mind my voice. I know it's not probably the best, but
yeah, you lot have to suffer it with me. That's what I go through every day.
Oh, you got jokes, bro. Well, that's pretty much what we have for you guys this week. We'll see you guys next week after match week 2. Again, we really appreciate your support. We love you guys. We love the love you are showing to us, and we hope we keep going strong. Every week we strive to improve and continue to grow. So again, thank you so much. We're on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. Did I say Apple Music? Sorry, Apple Podcast. We're pretty much on all that there. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, make your friends share with their own friends, make their friends share with their own friends. You know how it goes, the domino effect. So yeah, Spy, anything else to round it up?
No, just keep up the sharing, keep up the following. We appreciate you. Keep up the listening as well. And yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty
we'll
much
give
it.
you the best football news from the fans' perspective,
As usual, you know, we never miss a bit. While with you guys, always giving you the best news around the football world, especially in Premier League. So have an amazing week ahead. Hope again, you guys, if you didn't watch match week 1, I hope you had an amazing excuse. Go back and go and watch the replays, and then watch match week 2. Because I'm telling you, there are some really juicy encounters there. You won't want to miss it.
Yep. Go back, watch the highlights, watch match of the day, enjoy the highlights, and then tune in for this week match day 2.
Yep. Have an amazing week, guys. We're out.
Peace out.